Welcome to the Gym Success Podcast. A big welcome to all of you listening in today. Gym owners, operators, managers, salespeople, gym entrepreneurs, and personal trainers. We're glad you're here. I'm Bonnie. And before we really get started today, just a quick note for you folks looking to open a new gym, maybe acquire one, or if you just need some working capital, we can actually help with funding options up to $500K. It's unsecured funding, and there are no restrictions on how you use it. Just check us out at fmconsulting.net.
And I'm George. Today we're going to be looking into a really crucial white paper by jthomas. It's all about risk management and injury prevention in gyms. Our goal here, really, is to pull out the key insights, the actionable stuff you can use.
Yeah, actionable insights you can hopefully put into practice, maybe even this week. So jthomas really sets the stage right away, doesn't he? He defines the core idea for running a gym. It's more than just having shiny equipment, right? It's about building a protected, genuinely safe environment.
Exactly. And it's non-negotiable. Why? Well, the fitness industry, it just comes with inherent risks. It's the nature of it. Members are pushing themselves, exerting energy, lifting heavy things. And Thomas stresses that just one single incident, maybe an injury, maybe staff negligence, could even be equipment failure. That one thing can instantly wreck your reputation, the one you work so hard for. It can invite, devastating lawsuits, and honestly, it could jeopardize the entire business.
Okay, let's talk bottom line then, P&L, because this isn't just about doing the right thing ethically. It's about financial health, financial stability. Why should an operator really view risk management as an investment, like a line item, not just a cost they have to bear?
Well, because not focusing on it has direct, pretty severe consequences, usually 5 key ones that hit your profit and loss. First, you've got that immediate financial risk, increased liability, the constant threat of lawsuits. And if something does happen, you'll almost certainly see your insurance premiums spike. That's a recurring operational cost that just went up.
Mm-hmm. And what about the damage that's maybe less obvious right away, the kind that can stick around for years?
Yeah, that's the brand damage, the erosion of trust. You lose member trust, and that hits retention hard. It also makes attracting your members way tougher, and that damaged reputation, it leads straight to financial instability. In the worst case scenarios, it actually forces gyms to close. Think about the opportunity costs too. Staff time gets sucked into dealing with legal stuff instead of sales or member service. Plus, the cost of replacing members who left because they just didn't feel safe anymore, it all adds up.
Okay, so let's flip that. Proactive safety. Thomas really emphasizes this is an investment in the long run, in longevity. Gyms that really bake safety into their DNA, into their culture. They don't just avoid those costs you mentioned. They actually build trust, they secure loyalty for the long haul, and they stabilize their operational costs. So it becomes a way to actually drive profitability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. But, before you can manage risk, you've got to know what it is. You have to identify it first.
Yeah.
jthomas helpfully breaks down the common threats into 5 main categories. Understanding these buckets is really step 1 for prevention.
Right. Let's walk through those, starting with the physical risks. First up is equipment hazards. This is all the gear, right? Stuff like worn out cables, maybe loose bolts, things that could fail right in the middle of an exercise. Or just machines that aren't maintained properly, maybe not adjusted correctly.
Exactly. And then there are facility risks. This goes beyond the machines themselves. We're talking about the environment. Things like slippery floors, think locker rooms, areas near water fountains, poor lighting, maybe in stairwells or hallways, overcrowded free weight areas, that's a big one. And critically, things like blocked emergency exits, or maybe not having adequate fire safety measures in place.
Yeah, and it's often the little things too, isn't it? Like I've seen gyms where maybe the transition strip between carpet and rubber flooring creates just a tiny lip. Seems minor, but that's a trip hazard just waiting for someone carrying weights.
That's a perfect example. Yeah. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, maybe the toughest one, human error. This involves your staff. Untrained employees, maybe trainers using poor spotting techniques or giving improper exercise instruction. The human element, well, it needs constant, really focused management and training.
Then there's program risks. This is where maybe staff push a member too hard beyond what they're ready for, or perhaps the training programs themselves don't have proper progressions built in. This is a really common way injuries happen, especially in, say, fast-paced group classes. Shows a lack of planning for different abilities.
Right. And finally, the defense layer. Legal risks. This means things like waivers that aren't really adequate, maybe they won't hold up if challenged, or unclear membership contracts causing disputes, and crucially, not having enough insurance coverage or the right kinds of coverage. Ignoring any one of these 5, you're basically inviting trouble.
Okay, so we've identified the risks. Now let's move into actually doing something about them. Implementation. Jim Thomas's guidance gives us a clear path here, turning these potential problems into practical protective protocols. This is the how-to part that makes his white paper so valuable for operators.
Let's start with equipment maintenance. Structure is absolutely key here. You need regular checklists. Think daily, weekly, and monthly inspections. This creates accountability. It makes sure things don't slip through the cracks.
Okay, that sounds great in theory, but let's be real for a second. Operators are always fighting staff pushback on paperwork, right? And when a popular machine breaks down during peak hours, the manager's first instinct might be, oh no, lost revenue. How does Thomas suggest handling that tension, the pull between immediate safety and keeping things running?
That's a great question. You frame it as liability protection for the staff themselves. They need rigorous training so they know to immediately tag out any unsafe equipment. Take it out of service, no questions asked. And that detailed repair and inspection log. It's not just busy work, it's your legal defense. Imagine showing a judge or jury a consistent, documented history of inspections. That's solid proof you were doing your due diligence. That log acts as a shield against negligence claims.
That's a really strong point. It reframes the paperwork entirely. Okay, moving to facility safety, the physical environment fixes. You mentioned non-slip flooring and high-risk areas. What else?
Emergency exits need to be clear, obviously, but also really well lit. Don't forget that part. And signage. Simple things like caution, slippery when wet. They aren't just suggestions. They're part of your documented risk mitigation strategy.
Got it. Now the human element, staff training and supervision. You said this requires the most significant investment time-wise.
It does. It needs to include mandatory certifications. We're talking CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and AED automated external defibrillator use. And crucially, this should be for all staff members, not just the trainers. That person at the front desk might be the first one on the scene in an emergency.
That's a key distinction. Safety really is everyone's job, from the trainers on the floor right up to the front door staff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And beyond those basic emergency skills, you need ongoing training. Things like safe instruction methods, proper spotting techniques, even running emergency response drills. Jim Thomas also suggests something pretty interesting. Train your sales and front desk staff to actively look for risks even when they're just giving tours. They become another set of eyes, especially during busy times.
That's clever. It basically expands your safety surveillance team without adding payroll costs. Smart. We also need to think about managing member behavior itself, right?
Definitely. Enforce strict spotter policies for heavy lifting. Don't be afraid to step in. And, very importantly, make sure floor staff are actively assigned during peak hours specifically to monitor activity, not just stand around or answer occasional questions. Active supervision is probably the best defense against both program risks and human error combined.
And educating members.
Oh, critical. New member orientations shouldn't be optional. They should be mandatory. Teach safe use of machines and free weights.
And for gyms looking to, modernize a bit, providing resources like QR codes on equipment that link to video guides. That's fantastic. It offers instant standardized instruction, reducing the chance of someone using bad form and getting hurt.
Okay, so we've covered securing the physical space, training the people. Now let's shift to the legal and financial safety nets. Because like you said, all that physical effort doesn't mean much if the paperwork isn't right. Talk us through that legal and financial backbone. Right, this is where we lock down the gym's financial stability. First up, waivers and contracts. They need to be current, clear, and well-defined. Now, most gyms have a liability waiver, but the real question is it actually enforceable?
That's the key thing our listeners need to understand, isn't it? What makes it hold up?
Specificity and clarity are crucial. A waiver that's way too broad, or uses super technical legal jargon that nobody understands, or is buried in tiny print on page 10. Courts often find those unenforceable. It has to clearly state the specific risks the member is agreeing to take on. For example, the risks involved in free weight training or using certain machines. Use clear, accessible language. And update them regularly. Make sure every single member signs the latest version.
Okay, solid advice on waivers. Second point, insurance. Many operators probably think, yeah, I've got insurance. But is it enough? Or the right kind? Help us understand the critical differences in comprehensive coverage.
Yeah, you definitely need layers of protection here. We often see confusion between general liability, or GL, and professional liability, PL. General liability, think of that as covering the environmental risks. The classic slip and fall on a wet floor, property damage, accidents related to the facility itself.
The environment, right.
Correct. Professional liability, on the other hand, that covers risks tied to the services you provide, like an instructor giving bad advice that leads to injury, or a poorly designed training program or an injury from bad spotting instruction. You absolutely need both. Then add property insurance to cover the building and contents, and workers' compensation for your employees. That forms your basic shield.
Got it. GL for the place, PL for the practice. And the third layer of defense, maybe the most vital when something actually happens, incident reporting.
Absolutely critical. Your documentation system has to be airtight if an accident occurs. Implement a really detailed system to document every accident immediately, doesn't matter how minor it seems at the time. This system needs to capture witness statements, get names and contact info. And where it makes sense, take photos. Photos of the scene, the equipment involved, the surrounding area. Thomas really emphasizes this. Airtight documentation is what protects the business in court. It demonstrates that after an incident, you acted professionally, meticulously, and showed a commitment to safety. It really is your ultimate legal shield.
This whole discussion really brings us to the final, maybe overarching point. Embedding safety deep into the brand identity. It can't just be a checklist item or an afterthought. It needs to become part of the culture that staff and members experience every single day.
Exactly. Cultivating that safety culture takes consistent effort. You need to actively recognize and even reward staff who consistently uphold those high safety standards. Maybe it's someone who's diligent about filling out those inspection logs, or someone who proactively steps in to correct unsafe lifting form. Acknowledge it.
And keeping that awareness top of mind, communication seems key.
Definitely. Share safety tips regularly. Use all your channels, newsletters, social media posts, signs inside the gym. Keep it visible. And to make sure everyone stays compliant and bought in, think about conducting quarterly safety audits. Involve the whole team, not just managers. Make everyone feel like they have a stake in maintaining a safe environment.
So let's tie it all together. If an operator really commits to all this, makes safety their absolute top priority, what's the clear return on investment? What are the tangible benefits?
The benefits are significant, truly. First, you get increased trust and better member retention. People stay where they feel safe and valued. Second, you generally see lower operational costs over time. Fewer incidents mean fewer claims, which helps stabilize and maybe even lower those insurance premiums that can be so volatile.
Okay, trust and lower costs. What else?
Third, it gives you powerful brand differentiation. Promoting a safety-first message really resonates with certain groups. Think about parents looking for a gym for their teens or seniors, or even people completely new to fitness who might be intimidated by intense environments. You capture a valuable market segment that actively prioritizes safety and precaution.
That's a great point. It becomes a marketing advantage.
For sure. And maybe most importantly, it ensures long-term growth potential. How? By preventing those big costly disruptions, the lawsuits, the reputation hits that can completely derail expansion plans or make acquiring another facility impossible. Jim Thomas's final thought sums it up perfectly. Risk management and injury prevention aren't just side activities. They are the absolute foundation of sustainable gym ownership. A gym that's safe is a gym that can thrive, making safety your competitive advantage. That's the goal.
That really is the essential takeaway for all our operators listening. A safe gym is a successful gym. Now, if you need help building these kinds of crucial systems, or maybe improving your current facility operations, or even turning around your gym business, you can reach out to Jim Thomas directly. His number is 214-629-7223, or you can email him at jthomas@fmconsulting.net.
It's an investment in your systems and investment in stability. Well worth looking into.
Absolutely. And also be sure to check out our sponsor, Gym Business Manager. They offer fantastic gym software to help streamline your operations. Check them out at gymbusinessmanager.com. Thank you all so much for joining us for this really important discussion on securing your business. We'll catch you next time.